We will invite. Okay, good evening, everybody. Monday night, Slichos, Rosh Hashanah at our doorstep. We will get to Sipurey Maasios with Hashem. Allow me just to share the story, and we'll see what it is we can get out of it. Okay. So we said that they got this instrument. The men of the forest pointed to the side that was supposed to go to the country whose name was the foolish country with the wise king. And on the way, they wanted very much to find some kind of an animal or a beast to try this instrument if you can play. But they haven't seen any animal until they got to a civilized area that found some kind of a behemoth, and they put the instrument, it started to sing like that. So we touched about various issues here about the fact that with the information that the men of the forest is telling the prince about the fact that he tells them where to go. And he tells them that he uses the same language that the real prince had in his mind regarding his slave. That he said, I will know how to deal with them. When he parts from him, he says, regarding the other, your slave, you'll know what to do with him. You know how to deal with him. So with this, he let him know that he knows what he's thinking. And this is very important because once he tells him where to go, he gives the true prince the first firm indication that he is indeed a prince. In other words, he's not someone who, happened to usurp the control, to wrestle the control of a country from someone, and just happened to make it to be a Mr. Big. But he tells him that his greatness is inherent, it's inbred, this is who he is, this is where he's supposed to go. And we said that this is very important because even though the process of realizing the real you, we're all making the right noises. I'm Segula and this and that, whatever it is. It's Baruch Hashem, that in itself is a great thing. But the process of integrating it into yourself is a gradual one. It's not an on-off kind of thing, whereas they show you, okay, that's your birth certificate. Okay, I'm a prince. It doesn't work like that. It's something that you need to integrate it into yourself, into your system. Get used to the idea slowly, and assume upon yourself as you go along. You let it like sink in, step by step. The fact that you are indeed a prince. You see, when somebody is used to a lifetime of rejection and failure, you can't just tell him, it's all in your head. Just ignore it. You are a terrific guy and you'll succeed and don't worry about it and just disregard it. It does not work. The only thing that actually works is as you attempt something, and despite the fact that you are absolutely certain that it's going to fail and blah, 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 whatever, and it succeeds. And then you do something else and it also succeeds. What happens is that you're teaching your system, as it were, that success is an option, that you can indeed succeed, that you are a succeeder, as it were. In other words, internalizing the idea that you're a true prince comes about from behaving like one. And this is, step by step, reality interacts with you. Kadosh Baruch Hu is your shadow. The more princely you behave, the more princely the outcome. And it's a step by step, a process. As they were going, they already know that they have this instrument, which is the tefillah, and they found an animal, or a behemoth, to try the instrument. An animal or a behemoth means that they're trying to work on their midas, they're trying to work on their animalistic nature. Now, reality is that when you start doing this is Nosson writes about it in Torah Base, that he says that the perfection of the tefillah, somebody who was already zoiche to tefillah, he says the most important thing, tefillah is a sword. What a sword is for a soldier, tefillah is for a Jew. So in Torah Base, he's saying that when a person has a sword, the same way that when a soldier has a sword, he has to hit on target. And he cannot miss to the right or to the left. It has to be head on, to be able to be successful. It says that tefillah is also like this. And there are at least two explanations to what exactly it means to hit on target. One explanation, which we usually don't pay that much attention to, because we think like, come on, me, I'm not that madrega, blah, blah, blah. But the truth of the matter is, the minute that you start, you take upon yourself to daven for something, okay? And you just stick to it. You're going to daven, and you're going to stick to it. And you stick to it, and you daven for it, and you daven for it, and you get it. In Torah Base, Rabbeinu says that this is Pchinas Bechoira. This is that was given to Yosef, was taken away from Reuven. It says that tefillah is a double-edged sword. It has two edges. So the question is what it has to do with Bechoira. The Bechoira takes twice as much in the Yerusha as any other child. Says, okay, that's fine, but what's it got to do with tefillah? Tefillah shir chashamokum, the praise of Hashem, and you're asking for what you need. What on earth this got to do with the fact that with Reuven, with the Bechoira, that the Bechoira get Pishnaim? It looks like, very abstract kind of, okay, that's the way it is. But Reb Nosson explains that it's a very, very important, pertinent nekuda, because why is the Bechor getting twice in the inheritance as anybody else? The answer is because before the Bechor was born, the woman was not a Yoledis. She was just a woman. Once the Bechor was born, not only physically, but spiritually also, he has turned her into a birther, as it were. Okay? And that ruach, is into all the children that are born afterwards. He has a chelik in all the children that are born afterwards. And also explain the same thing has happened with the tefillah. When you first introduced to the concept of davening for something. I mean, later, many people are taking the whole meaning of tefillah is on a more, I wouldn't say symbolic, but something which is like, a further off kind of concept, just like a ve'am, they're standing that far, and they're offering that tefillah, and there's no personal connection kaviyachol between them and Hashem's Baruch. But when you take upon yourself to daven for something, anything, whatever it is, and patiently you keep on at it, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives it to you, He changes you. You become somebody different. You are a mispalel. You are a davener. It's a different state of existence altogether. You know that you have within your head, within your hands, the tool to, at least in principle, to get practically anything. Tzaddikim can get anything. Rabbeinu says in Torah Beis, he says that maneuver the Pardaska, this is a tefillah of Mashiach, that Mashiach will pull everything through tefillah. And he says, for him, for the tzaddik, it is crucial that he hit with the tefillah like a sword exactly where it's supposed to hit, meaning that he should not daven for somebody that's supposed to be punished and ask Rachmanis for him, or fakir, somebody that doesn't deserve din, that the tzaddik should decree a din on him, because a tzaddik that kind of tefillah, that kind of potent tefillah, it becomes a very, very dangerous tool in his hand. So he has to be very careful. But Lamaisa, the Nakuda that is more nagia to us is not hitting left or right, has to do with the klipa of Yishmael and the klipa of Esav. The klipa of Yishmael is too much chesed, which ends up being total cruelty, as you can see from the Muslims. And the klipa of Amalek, of Esav, which is kula small, it's completely, the left side is kula din. The klipa of Ishmael says, you don't have to ask Hashem for everything. Hashem is full of chesed. He knows what is necessary. You don't have to ask. By the way, the Arabs, when they bow down on their carpets 5 times a day, in their prayers, there's no a single word of asking HaKadosh Baruch Hu for anything. It's only praises. Hashem is great, whatever it is. It has none. They have absolutely. There's no. It's kulo chesed, and you see afterwards they go and they kill people, they themselves included. It's just like a. So it's the too much chesed ends up in the din shebedin. Esav is kula small. This is what you bother talking about, because Baruch Hu doesn't care about you. And these two klipas are playing inside a person. When he davens, so the klipa from Amalek says, just of Ishmael says, Kadosh Baruch Hu knows what you need. They don't have to daven so much, it's fine. You don't have to work so hard. Or the other way is what are you wasting your time to daven? Kadosh Baruch Hu doesn't hear you anyhow. I mean, it doesn't say to you in that many words, but when you look at the way that you daven, how decisive you are, not decisive you are, but how committed you are to your regimen of davening, you realize that this is, if you find a fault in it, in other words, you're not davening as much as you should, and make as bad as, yeah, it's late, I had a hard day. You should know that it comes from either too much chesed, because Baruch Hu knows what I need. It's okay, he's gonna take off care of today. It's okay, I don't need to worry about that. Or listen, until HaKadosh Baruch Hu actually hears what I have to say, it's a kuli hai v'ulai. So if I don't daven one day, this is, swaying to the left or to the right. Person needs to be very careful. And what it has to do with us means that you should always ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu diligently and patiently for whatever it is that you need. And if you don't get it, you keep on asking. Politely. You're not pressing your nakuda. You're not, forcing the issue. Rabbeinu said this is very dangerous. And you're not throwing your weight around. You're not saying, if you're not giving me what I'm asking for right now, I'm not going to daven anymore. Be very careful with something like that. Only what? I'm going to daven. If you're going to give it to me now, if you're not going to give it to me, I'll keep on davening. And what happens if you don't give me afterwards? I'll keep on davening. I will do mine. And on the other hand, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu fulfills your tefillah, he answers your davening, you should not think that it was the power of your tefillah that gave it to you. It was the chesed of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yes, you were there, and yes, you davened. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave it to you as pure gift. He listened to you, and he gave it to you not because you deserve it, because you asked for it, and he loves you and gives you as a chesed. So you shouldn't get, too big for your britches, kind of. This is the union of not going left or right in the tefillah. But that's the process. They were trying to look for an animal, to try the kli to see, but they still haven't seen the animal. In other words, they were still, as we said, they were still in such state of darkness they didn't realize, we were looking for the enemy, and we didn't realize that it was us. We were looking for, what should I daven for? I don't see anything. Listen, I'm not, Mr. Tzaddik or anything, but basically, when I look around, I don't see anything wrong. But I don't see anything wrong. What am I doing? It's like I'm not killing anybody. I'm not cheating anybody. I'm not. This is what you're able to see, because you haven't gotten yet to a civilized area. It means you yourself have not become civilized yet. You haven't found the animal or the beast yet to be able to put the instrument on, to be able to start asking. And then when they got to civilized area, when you finally are refined enough, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu starts showing you little by little, check this out about yourself. When you heard that they heard, that there's a Haredi guy that went in the street, that you told him many times, why aren't you wearing your mask? And the police came and gave him a ticket. What did you do? Did you say, good, they'll teach him. From now on, let him not go with the mask. Who did you pass the judgment on? Is it possible that you pass judgment on yourself? Suddenly you see things. When you get to a civilized area, when you have been able to purify yourself a little bit, you start seeing things, all kind of prejudices, all kinds of derision with which you look at people that may very well be better than you are, definitely in many areas, or even if not, that the Shem HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and so forth and so on. There's this, it can go in various ways. When you are in total darkness, you don't even realize that you're in the dark. Everything is cool, everything is fine. I mean, it's like, I'm not doing things I used to do, so, what more can I ask for? Well, he says what you need to, they long to find the animal. They long to find the beast to put the thing on. So they have what to ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu for. Then they got the settled area by the ratzon, by the longing. And then they put the instrument on it. And now we're going to a next step, which they found the animal and started to play. Now Rabbeinu says, there you go. Okay. So allow me to share the screen again with you. I apologize for the technical glitch. And they went and they came out ad Shabao el Medina now. And they walked and they came until they came to that country, that state. Already here, there is another hint to every person who is into Avodas Hashem. What were they doing? They were walking. You can go to that, you can daven, and you can ask, and you can say brachas, and you can do whatever it is, but it may seem like you're treading water, like you're not getting anywhere. But Rabbeinu is saying this is not the case. V'holchu lahem, they went, and it says, Vayu holchim uvayim. When they were walking, they were coming, they were arriving. The very walking itself is an arrival. As we said, this particular chelek here, we have left the part before where until he reached the forest, this is akin to the korbanos, the part of korbanos and davening. This is olam Maasios. That's why when he actually reached the pinnacle of olam Maasios, he was shepherding behemoths. This is a remez for the korbanos. This is the tikkun of olam Maasios. When he is entering the forest, he is entering, as it were, the realm of Yetzirah. The realm of Yetzirah, this is the remez of Psukkah de Zimra. Psukkah de Zimra is the in of singing, a singing that decimates the kelipot. This says Psukkah de Zimra is from the shirish, from the root of zmir aritzim, of shearing down, the clippers. You have a pair of shears in your hands, and you're clipping the bush. You're clipping off the kilipot with the zemirot. So this is the song of the animals that they were singing. They were going through the Olam Yitzir. This is one of the pollution, that the man of the forest is actually the Malach Matat, who is a cardinal force in Hashem's army, and he is his housing is in Yetzirah. By such a huge angel that he reaches Olam Asiyah. His legs get down to Olam Asiyah, and his head gets up to Olam Abriya. But his main residence, as it were, is the Yetzirah. And he is the conductor of the heavenly choirs that are going in the Yetzirah, and this is a remez for the man of the forest, who is in charge of the world of nature. He is the one that gives him, that saves him from the animals. He is in midair. This is a remez for the Yetzirah, which is hovering between the Bria and the Asiyah. It is the olam of beauty. It is the olam of harmony. The perfection of olam Yetzirah for us as Ovdei Hashem, or people who yearn to be an Ovdei Hashem, is olam Asiyah is typified, is very cacophonous. There are all kinds of noise, but 90%, at least 90% of them are grating on my nerves and making me want to throw something real heavy and clumsy on their heads. This is Olam Asiyah. Olam Yetzirah is when you have refined yourself to the point. Now you got the emunah. Your emunah has become that complete that when you take a look at reality, you realize that all that which you thought was noises and screeches and bangs and drilling noises and screams and shouts and whatever it is, were actually an unbelievable symphony and harmony of unbelievable beauty. You can't fake it. You can't just say, wow, listen, everything happens in life, an unbelievable symphony. Man, this is great. This is amazing. Well, it is amazing. But truth of the matter is, the minute that the neighbor starts drilling at 2 o'clock, in the afternoon, you're trying to lie down, it drives you nuts. Okay? Yeah, in other words, you have to hold by that madriga. This is the avoida of whatever it is we went through in Olam Yetzirah. Now we are matriculating, and we're going to this particular Medina, which, as we heard before, is the Medina. It's the country that's called the foolish country with the smart king. And the Rebbe says as follows: the Oisa Medina, and that particular country, it had a wall around it. Now you want to enter the realm of Moichin. You want to earn the realm, you want to enter the realm of Bina, the realm of Emes, the realm of Das. you want to come close to the tzaddik. Rabbeinu says that around the tzaddik there are klipos that are going all the way around him, and there's only one opening, and that a person can get in, because the klipos don't want you to find the opening. So they have all kind of kashas about why Uman, why this, why that. One day making, they actually had a phone call for somebody today, a daughter of an old friend of mine, not from, and what's Brestover's point, about all these protests about going to Uman. I said, what about all the protests against the prime minister? Are these any healthier, corona-wise? Well, that's something else. Of course it's something else. It's not something that you want to talk about. Of course it's something else. So whenever it is you look at the tzaddik, you will find obstacles on your way. You should know that to believe, not just to believe, but that it should shine, that your consciousness should shine with the greatness and the glory of the tzaddik, especially Rabbeinu, is extremely difficult. Even once you know that that's the truth. That's the truth. This is tzaddik emes. You have so many proofs to that. You already know. It's not a question anymore. Is it or isn't it? You already know. When you read Shivchei Haran or Sichas Haran, and you read what Rabbeinu said about himself, you can get to feel uncomfortable. I mean, why is he saying that? It sounds so far-fetched. It sounds so, or any kind of such things. Why don't we have these kind of sfeikas about the Baal Shem Tov, about Hashem Bar Yochai, about Rabbeinu Arizal, about Moshe Rabbeinu, about Avram Yitzchak and Yankov? Over there, no problem. Bavada was Moshe Rabbeinu, Yaminu Hashem Hashem. What the heck are you talking about? Moshe Rabbeinu went to Sinai and he didn't eat and didn't drink for 40 days and 40 nights. Yeah, of course. When it comes to Rabbeinu, and he says, Chidush kamani lo haya me'olam, something like me has never been in existence before, and you're moving uneasily in your chair. Why is that? The reason is that about Moshe Rabbeinu and Hashem Bar Yochai and Arizal and the Baal Shem Tov and the Baal Latanya and the Berditchev Arov and the Rebbe Melech and all these great tzaddikim, there's no Bechira anymore. Because as Rabbeinu says, Sichas Haran, when they passed from the world, they took their aura with them. I mean, Moshe Rabbeinu made everybody into Jews. There's nothing at stake anymore. You got it, you're in. The only Bechira, in other words, that will determine your Olam Va'ed, your forever, is the emunah on the only tzaddik which is relevant to you now, which is Rabbeinu. That's why whenever it is that an inyan of Rabbeinu comes up, there are all kinds of questions, all kinds of fakas, all kinds of should I, shouldn't I, all kinds of maybe yes, maybe not, maybe, all those inyanim come up when it has to be about Rabbeinu. Why? Because Rabbeinu is the only one, that's where the Bechira is. And this is the wall which is around this Medina. You can only enter from one opening. You can only enter from one opening. Rabbeinu says sometimes when there's a danger, the klipos will close the opening altogether. So they put the Yerushalayim in the opening. Somebody was Yerushalayim, and he is warning you off. He's telling you, just, don't get close to this side. Don't drive you crazy, or whatever it is. Don't do this. Don't do that. And a person has to be very lucky. And he says, and you have to walk for quite a distance. You have to look for him. You have to ask. You have to beg. And before you even start, why would you walk for all these persons? Why would you walk all this distance? Why should you do it? And the answer is because unless you believe that you have to get close to the tzaddik, and as we learn in Torah Chaf, unless you believe that when you are standing face to face with the tzaddik and you feel a stench, you realize that it comes from you. You won't make the trek. You won't keep on looking for the tzaddik. So I don't need this. It's not for me. It's not reasonable. As we said the last time, I think once the Shabbos we spoke about it. You live in the realm of reason, of decision, which is influenced by reasons, or you live in the universe of commitment. In other words, you live your life in the realm of because of this reason I'll do this, and because of that reason I'll do that, and because of this reason then I won't do that, because of this reason I won't do that. That makes you indecisive. This is especially harmful in marriage. As we said the last time, women, when they feel insecure, they dig into you. That's what they do. If you are in the state of decision, you either run away or you fight. But if you are in the realm of commitment is when you do things despite, not because, but despite. You're committed to that. So if your wife is digging in, okay, so she needs to dig in right now, but I am her husband, and so I'm going to stay, I'm going to sit, and I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to listen to whatever it is she's saying. It's unpleasant, but that's what she needs. Until she'll sort of settle and everything will be fine. You'll have the greatest marriage on earth. And it's a very delicate balance that you have to understand. When to apply commitment and when to apply decision. Because you can't go pig-headedly into commitment either. As we saw, the story of Reb Nosson from Yimei Molanat. Reb Simcha Balev told me that let me just stop this share for as we are finishing off. I lost my train of thought. But anyhow, that Reb Nosson decided, not to go to Uman in order to save those people from falling into the hands of knaves and hooligans or whatever, con men. So the way to do it, the way to handle it, which I have found to be the most auspicious for success, is you have a Rav. You have a Rav that you believe in his Avodas Hashem. And this is a very, very important nakuda, especially as we're getting into the Medina with the foolish king, with the foolish country with the wise king, and the names were exchanged, like the slave and the prince were exchanged, and so forth and so on. So we will finish tonight's learning by visiting what qualities should my Rav have? Who should I pick as my guide? The answer is it doesn't really matter, as long as three conditions are met. A, he's Sharm Allah, Sharm Abris. He's not somebody who's playing loosey-goosey with Allah, because, Torah is bigger than that. HaKadosh Baruch Hu cares. No further shtick. That's rule number one. Rule number two, that he's a Breslover. He's a Breslover. He's committed. He's committed. He's into this. That's what he does. And for a while. Not just somebody just came 2 minutes ago, has these great ideas, No, somebody who has been at it, for a long time. Could be Reb Chaim Kramer, it could be Reb Nosson Maimon, it could be anyone, that stature and up. Okay? And the third thing, it needs to be somebody that you have a common language with. You can talk to him. Any combination of two of the three does not work. In other words, if he is Shomer Abres Shalom Allah Vadai, he's a breath of Vadai, but you can't speak to him. You can't talk to him. You're so scared of him, whatever, you can't talk. He's not for you. Or let's say that he's a Breslover and you can really talk to him, but as far as Allah, whatever it is, he's playing around a little bit. No, he's not for it. Or the other combination, he's really Shem Allah and Shem Abres, and you can talk to him, but he's not a Breslover. It's also not your Rav. So why doesn't it matter? It doesn't matter because Rabbeinu is your Rav. And his Talmidim are your Rebbeim. And Reb Nosson once asked the Rebbe, they are Mefasom Shel What does it mean, Mefasom Shel People that are falsely famous. That they have a false fame. What does it mean, false fame? It means that they are cheaters and liars, and people think that's tzaddikim. There are such people, but mostly we're not talking about that. We're talking about people that they're just, they're good Jews. Kanaan Hara. It's not a small thing. But people hold them to be, whoa. The difference between what people hold them to be and what they really are, that is a false fame. So Rabbeinu speaks about Mefasom Shel Sheker. In Breslov, it's a famous spectator sport to call every single Rebbe around a Mefasom Shel Sheker. They love it. Rabbeinu says about this that, okay, let's leave that for a minute. But so Nosson asked the Rebbe a serious question. What will somebody who really is looking for the truth, but he is close to the Mefasom Shel Sheker? In other words, somebody who is not that, is on that level. So the Rebbe said, anybody who looks for the truth, Kadosh Baruch Hu gives him a malach, an angel of truth. Rabbeinu is watching over your education and over my education. You be Makorav to one of the Talmidim that applies to these three check marks as far as you're concerned right now. Rabbeinu says that person, when he will finish getting from this Meforsim Shel Sheker all the truth that he can get from him, Kodesh Baruch Hu is going to give him an angel of truth that will move him over to somebody else. So as long as you know that, you don't make decisions on your own. I don't make decisions on my own because I know that my medama has been corrupted, that everything that I look at, I look out of the lenses that are colored with my prejudices, with my klipos, with my averis, and that's who I am. So I don't rely on my das. You know, I don't know. So I go to somebody whose das is more mevur, is more purified, and I ask. And if it's a shaila, if it's a serious shaila, you know, and I want to make sure that they get, you know, the das amiti, I make his bayadus before I ask him, and I ask that I'm going to ask my Rav, but I want to get das Rabbeinu. Well, I want to ask Rav Chaim Kanievsky or any other gadol, but I want to hear the das of Rabbeinu. And then you ask. This is the way to start getting to walking to the opening of that opening that leads to that Medina, to this Olam Abino, the Olam of the Das, the Olam of the truth, as we will see Mitzvah Hashem next Monday. Next Monday is already assessing a tshuva. B'ezrat Hashem, we will meet once again, learning Nikuta Maran on Thursday. B'ezrat Hashem, we'll try to speak a little bit about Rosh Hashanah. And until then, I want to wish everybody a Ksivach Simateva, a Gid Giben Shira. And this shir was dedicated to the refuah of Shlomo Moshe ben Pearl, our friend who is a respirator in the hospital. Hashem should send him a refuah shleim of the Kor of Mamish, Toch Shachol Yisrael, and save us all from all magifas.